I said I want to start a garden. You said, sounds good to me, but first we'll need something to grow. So we went down to the nursery and picked up some seeds, broccoli, squash, and oregano. Well, we're standing at our plot, wondering how this would work, 'cause you don't like getting wet, and I don't like the dirt. But if I could keep clean and you could stay dry, we could make a plan and give it a try. I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds. That's everything that a garden really needs. Make holes in the ground and drop in the seeds. I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds. Let's not mess around with who we are. If we ever want to be free, I'm gonna take a chance and look inside and tell you what I see. I do the watering if you pull the weeds. That's everything that a garden really needs. Make holes in the ground and drop in the seeds. I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds.
The power of collaboration.
That is what that song is about.
And asking for help.
Yeah,
Can't do it alone.
yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't even think about that part of it.
Isn't it interesting that you discover and I discover in our own creative process, when it runs through someone else's consciousness, things that we did not see ourselves?
Yeah.
I love that as part of the creative collaboration and what we're doing. So what was the inspiration for this? Talk about it.
Well, the short story is my wife and I were laying in bed, about ready to fall asleep, and she was like, Rigel, I was out in the garden today, and I was pulling weeds, and she enjoys pulling weeds. This is like kind of therapy
Yeah.
for her. And we are very different. Our personalities are like very, very different.
Absolutely. With Melissa and me too.
Yeah. And she was like, I think I'm just a weeder and you're a waterer. There's a longer story, but I happened to come across the same metaphor, almost exactly the same metaphor earlier that day in my own learning, and I was like, I think I need to write a song about this, and
Wonderful.
so I just told a story of planting a garden, but the garden needs weeders. It needs someone to weed it. It needs someone to water it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then this most recent section, so the part I was reading off my phone was what I worked on yesterday. What the verses and the chorus. I'll do the watering, you pull the weeds. And I wasn't really sure where to take the song. And I don't know if what I've done today is going to work, because it's very, what they call in songwriting, on the nose. It's very it's just straight to the point. You're not like using metaphors. You're just like bam.
Yep.
And we'll see if this part stays.
Yep.
But this is basically the thought process behind it. Like,
I see.
Let's not mess around with who we are. If we ever want to be free, I'm going to take a chance and look inside and tell you what I see.
I love that. And what you and I were talking about on another show, and we were talking about the avoidance of cliche. And of how you were abhorrent. You said, oh my God, the one thing I want to do is to avoid cliche. I want to make sure I've got something else going on, but not cliche.
Yeah.
And I asked you about that, and you said, well, what if I dug into cliche? What if I actually explored cliche? I out-clichéed cliche.
Yeah.
And what would that look like? And that is what I love about this song. I mean, it has and I love the rhythms and the kind of, would you say bluesy, folksy? What is that?
I would put it in the folk Americana category.
Yeah.
Folk bluesy Americana.
Yeah.
I mean, anything about gardens is going to have some folk.
Yeah.
You know.
But it has some.
Yeah.
It has some. And I don't know what it has some. Yeah.
It's kind of a
bouncy. Yeah.
There's also some New Orleans rhythms in there too.
Yeah.
So.
Do you, when you write, does the music, does it? Because I don't understand how to write music, I don't understand how it happens. So could you talk about your creative process and talk about how? I mean, do you tinkle and niggle and then suddenly it then you hear something, or does it?
That's a hard question.
Or is it a wide variety?
I have these like built-in technically they're like chord progressions, but
right.
they're kind of like song thoughts.
Okay.
That just they're easy, they flow together naturally, and it's easy to get stuck in a rut of the same song thoughts. Like if I have kind of a folky idea, it's gonna sound about like this. Like all of my little folky ideas are gonna sound just about like this. All my bluesy ideas are gonna sound like my blues thing. If I have like a Latin idea, they're all gonna have the same. So I have like general styles.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning how to do is, if I want to try and make a song a little bit unique, not make the whole thing unique, but change like one or two chords in one place.
Okay. So would variations on a theme. So you have a theme, and then you do variations on you handle you have strengths, you have areas you like to explore, and then you put a spin on that, or
a variation on a theme. Example in this particular song is in the chorus where I'm going, I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds. That's everything that a garden really needs. Make holes in the ground and drop in the seeds. And what I could have done is, I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds. But what I did instead is, we'll make holes in the ground and drop in the seeds. I'll do the watering if you pull the weeds. So I went to this chord, which it doesn't really fit in any of the chords that I've been doing so far.
Yeah.
And then it kind of returns to itself after that.
So when you grow, when you find yourself growing as a songwriter and as a lyricist, is it an exploration of, let me take a chance to go out of this, or and instead of just staying in this little piece, this comfort zone? So that's what I'm thinking about in the creative process, how we stay in our comfort zones, stay in these places where we've rolled these trails, and then there's a chance to explore outside of them and say, let me try to do something, and especially to do something average, prosaic, whatever it is, as we're trying to learn something else like you did there.
So what I'm hearing you ask is centered around this question of like my comfort zone.
Right.
And where am I stepping outside that in my process? And so there's like the music side and the writing side of that. And It's hard. That's a hard question to answer exactly for my music side, because I feel like I actually am. I'm trying not to step out too far. Like I tend to, when I step outside my comfort zone, take this like giant step and then just like fall on my face, because I don't have like the skills to actually do a whole song that far outside my comfort zone. So what I'm learning to do is to take that small step in one little place where I can just like step out and it's like, oh, that feels different, like this is a different perspective, and like, oh, I'm back. And I learned that from my producer Eddie. He is brilliant. I mean, but he can step way outside the comfort zone and like make it work. I can't do that.
Right.
So he's taught me to, or I've just watched him like change one little chord, and that changes the whole song.
Wow.
And then with my writing, where I've been stepping outside my comfort zone is, and I just got this idea from, I don't know if we talked about this in our last session, in the last episode.
Right.
But I'm taking this course on Wired for Story.
Right.
And I think we did talk about it a little bit. And asking the question why, like, why do I want a garden?
Why?
And like, I'll just tell you what I wrote this morning, because I was trying to figure out where I wanted this song to go. It's hard. I get stuck really easy in the first or second verse. And so I was trying to figure out, like, what else can I add to this? And so I asked, why do I want to plant a garden? I want to know where my food comes from. Why do I want to know where my food comes from? Because I'm not sure about things that I can't see the whole process from beginning to end. Why is that important? I want to know that what I am consuming is real. Why? Because I want to know that I am real, and that people are getting the real me instead of a fake or curated me. I don't want to hide who I am. I want to be loved and appreciated and valued for who I am. So often when I ask why and keep asking, it gets down to this just like real like gut feeling of I just want to be loved.
Yeah.
Seems like that's what it always comes down to for me. But in that process of asking why, it uncovers these.
So why do you want to be loved?
Oh gosh. I mean, it feels good.
Okay. I like that. Me too.
Yeah.
It really, really feels good to feel loved.
Yeah.
Because I ask myself that so often, because I am at that place of feeling loved, about feeling loved, because there's a difference between being loved and feeling loved.
Yeah.
Because if I am looking to be loved, it's outside of myself. But if I'm looking to feel loved, it's inside of myself, and it's irrespective of what is currently going on in the outside. But it still gets me to the same place. And if I'm going to feel loved, then that's a place that I can always go to. But if I want to be loved, I'm constantly striving outside of myself.
Yeah, like
to bring it in. I'm trying to go out and find it. I'm going.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I actually changed feel. I changed my be to feel, because yeah, there's some cognitive dissonance for me around that. When I really think about it, around that word, wanting to be loved, because I am loved, and to want to be loved is to like question that. And I have access to my own feelings. That's within my body. Whether or not someone else loves me or not is not something I have access to.
No.
So that's good. That's a good kind of word.
It's important for me because I will find myself when I am chasing approval or I'm chasing love. What I'm actually chasing is something that only I can give myself permission to experience. I cannot get it because anytime I get it from the outside, when I'm chasing it, no matter what, it's like icing. The difference between, all right, let's say that love is the cake and wanting to be loved is the icing. And I get this high, this sugar high from love, but it doesn't last. It's always, and then I got that hunger again. I want some more. I want constantly doing that. But when I can feel and experience loved and feel loved.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting to the nutritious part. Now I'm getting to the alignment part.
It's like an inner feedback loop.
Thank you.
Instead of this like
thank you. An external is just a difference. Yeah. Precisely.
And it just like spins.
Yeah. And I love it. I've been reading a book on on plant intelligence. And I'll show you that plants, and the thing is that because they are very 99.7% of all life on this planet are plants. Only like the tiniest percentage are animals, but yet we don't see it that way. We look at plants and but yet we cannot exist without them, but they could exist without us. I mean, if we disappeared and all animals disappeared, within...
You mean they don't need carbon dioxide from our automotive emissions?
They don't need none of that. And that is the whole... And so what is plant intelligence? What is this intelligence? And how does this collective swarm intelligence, how does it work? Even though we might not recognize it. So I'm reading, and it's just opening my mind, and moment by moment, and then I come to the...
Yeah. And I think that's, for me, having a garden makes me feel connected to that whole process.
Yeah.
Feel connected.
Feel.
There it is.
There it is. That's where we are. Exactly.
Yeah.
And just being able to get that process. So on here in July on the, let's see, it's the 12th. Where are you in the 100 days of songwriting this edition?
I believe today is day 42.
Wonderful. Are you noticing things? Do you notice things during this process? Because you said you get this great momentum at the is it like a marathon where you're real strong in the beginning, and then you get into the middles where you have, and then the doldrums, and then get to the wall? Does it work that way? How does it work in the 100 days?
Yeah, I mean, they've been different for me each time, but there is the things that are the same is like I usually have a lot of energy in the beginning, and then I get to this point where I'm like, I'm feeling 100 days.
Yep.
And that's usually around like day 25 to 30. And in the past, that's when I've really trickled off. Like my daily work has slipped. But I feel like, you know, and I've had other like life circumstances that were just taking priority.
Yep.
So it was hard to have that
But,
space.
but all right, I don't want to. I am not challenging you here, but I want to say is that life can always intervene. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That is, life is independent of this process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly, that's the way it's been for me. Is because I can say, I can make that as my and say, well, you know, I'm so busy. I have all this and I have all, but that's But I found that that's not really that's not really where it is. It's the continuing to lay down one note after another, one word after another, getting back into because you're a stronger songwriter and storyteller than you were the last time you went through this 100 days.
You know, and I think that what you're saying is true, and I probably don't give myself enough credit for the last 100 days I was going through when I was falling off the wagon or slipping or whatever.
Yep.
Like, I feel like it's like the actual songwriting, the words and the sounds that manifest in the physical reality is like this tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And like, this is where it was on my first 100 days of songwriting.
Yeah.
And then you know, it was here on the second time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more like here on the third time.
Yep.
But what's below the surface is I'm thinking about it. I'm dealing with the feelings of inadequacy or guilt or all this stuff, but like, it's right below the surface.
Yep. But isn't inadequacy and guilt, aren't those in fabulous subjects?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's how human of us, right?
Yeah.
To deal with an inadequacy and guilt. It's what we all have to move along and spend our time in our days in this experience, because we're always, certainly I found that I am, is that I have an opportunity to show up as less than over and over and over. And showing up as less than, it's not a question of not having enough. It's that I'm actually showing up like I'm cutting the flow off so that I have less to bring.
Can you explain less than? Just that can mean like a few different things, and I don't totally understand.
In this place, I'm thinking of it like a let's say a water faucet.
Yeah.
So I'm showing up with the water faucet at about half, when all I have to do is I don't have to change the water pressure. I don't have to change the flow. It's waiting there for me. All I'm doing is opening it up to full. Am I willing to step up fully and be as present as I can? And I know this because when I am into self-judgment, self-criticism.
Ooh, that is 25 minutes already. Wow.
That's when, thank you, that's when I find that I have metered back that flow. And so I just don't have the throughput.
Yeah.
There's something about my willingness to treat myself as kindly as I'm willing to treat you. If I'm willing to do that, suddenly that throughput opens up, and then all these creative ideas that were waiting there fall into place.
Yeah, I think that I've this could be a whole nother conversation.
And will be.
But I think that this idea of being gentle on myself, like, I've always just thought, I'm gentle on myself all the time. It's other people that I judge.
That's great.
I am realizing that feedback loop, it comes back in. It trickles, has the whole trickle down effect.
To me, it's a process of projection.
Yeah.
Is that I will project my internal reality on the world. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if I find that if I am out there and all I see are judgmental people who are angry, who are upset, well, there's something inside of me that is calling, begging for attention.
Yeah.
It's begging for attention because this is my dash panel. The world that I see is my instrument panel. Yeah. So that if I'm seeing kindness and collaboration, I see that I'm much more in my center, in my zone. If I'm seeing discord and jam and something needs attention, go inside and give that attention because and it'll give me, and it doesn't matter because I will see exactly the same thing. I'll see exactly the same thing on television, or I'll see the exact thing, but I'll react totally differently. Haven't you done that on the road? On the highway, somebody will cut you off, and you'll just, all right, hang in there, guy. I know you got someplace, or gal, you got someplace. Same thing happens. Somebody starts saying,
Yep.
Had nothing to do with them. It was all about what was my internal.
The daily opportunity.
Daily opportunity. Well, play us out of here.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.